A very good morning, students. In this video, I am going to talk about the muscles which are responsible for producing the pronation movement. Okay. For example, this is the pronation of the forearm. This is my forearm, arm, and forearm. Now, I am standing here in the anatomical position, and that is in the supine position. This is the supine position, okay, of the forearm. So this is the, okay, where the palm is facing forward. When I produce this movement here, where the thumb is rotating medially and the back of the hand is coming forward, this movement of the forearm is considered as the pronation movement. So this is the pronation movement. So we will learn in this video which are the muscles which are responsible for producing the pronation movement. If we see in this, okay, we will see that this is of the left forearm is here, and in this left arm the lateral bone is radius. This is the ulna, the ventral aspect where the two bones are running. This is the palmar aspect of the skeleton of the hand. When we start producing the pronation movement, the radius rotates here at the superior radioulnar joint, and it makes a circle of 180 degree around the lower end of the ulna, and it moves in such a way that the posterior surface of the lower end of the radius now faces forward, and this is the rotation at the upper end within the within the annular ligament. So this is the movement of the pronation, where the dorsum part of the skeleton of the hand is facing forward. So this is the how from supine position, supination position, the forearm is moving to that of the pronation. We will learn which are the muscles responsible for this pronation movement, which is taking place at superior and inferior radioulnar joint. Of course, the interosseous membrane, which is considered as the intermediate radioulnar joint, is also involved in it. Okay. Now, there are the three muscles which are responsible for the pronation movement. It is Pronator teres, the Pronator quadratus, and Flexor carpi radialis. Let us see. This is the left forearm here. This is the ulna. This is the radius, radial tuberosity, the lower end of the humerus, capitulum. This is the upper end of the radius. Similarly, this is the broad lower end of the radius, and this is on the lateral side. This is the medial side. So this is the left forearm. Here is the lower end of the ulna, the carpal bones, the first metatarsal, the second, not tarsal, metacarpal, the second and the third metacarpals are shown here. Let us see these three muscles which are necessary for the production of the pronation. The first is Pronator teres, which takes origin from the medial epicondyle of the humerus. And see here, this is that medial epicondyle of the humerus is here because it is of the right side. This is the medial epicondyle, from the front of which this is the origin of the Pronator teres muscle. And this Pronator teres muscle, then it will cross towards the lateral side. That means it will go towards the lateral side obliquely and will insert onto the maximum convexity of the radius bone, where it is present almost in the middle of the bone. This is the ventral aspect of the lap bone, and this is the site where the Pronator teres is attached onto the lateral surface. This is the lateral surface. So this is the insertion. Similarly, another muscle which will take origin from the medial epicondyle, just medial to the Pronator teres, is a long muscle which is going here, crossing to the ulna, then it is crossing to the lower end of the radius. Okay, that means it is also running from medial to lateral, splitting in two tendons which are attached onto the base of the second and the third metacarpal. They are attached onto the base of the second and third. So it is crossing many joints, okay, many joints. but running from medial towards the lateral side. The third muscle which is necessary for producing the pronation is called as Pronator quadratus, it is called, and it takes origin from the anterior aspect of the lower part of the ulna, and its fibers directly go towards that of the radius. Horizontally they are going, and then they are attached onto the anterior as well as onto the lateral surface of the radius, right up to this crest, okay, ridge, okay, onto the anterior aspect and to that of the crest. This is, so these are the three muscles which are producing the pronation. Let us see what will happen in the movement of the pronation. When the pronator teres will contract, since it is attached to the maximum convexity of radius, and since the muscle is going from medial to the lateral side, crossing to that of the elbow joint, crossing to the superior radioulnar joint, and then indirectly it is also crossing, okay, that means acting onto the inferior radio. So it will try to rotate the radius, it will try to rotate the radius, which will rotate in the annular ligament, its upper end, and then this radius will not only rotate but it will be pulled towards the lateral side, that is, pulled towards the medial side. From lateral to the medial side, the radius will be pulled, okay. So not only it will produce the rotation of the radius, but it will also pull, so that the lower end will start forming an arc, okay. Second muscle in the similar way is also going from medial to that of the lateral side, but attached at the base of the second and third metacarpal. It will also try to just pull the bone towards the skeleton of the hand. Okay, it will try to bring the skeleton of the hand, which is articulating with the lower end of the radius and ulna. So when this muscle from medial epicondyle to that of the second and third base, it will pull. This will also try to pull the skeleton of the hand, will turn this along with the radius, okay, along with that of the radius. Then the third muscle, that is the Pronator quadratus, this is a very effective muscle because it is attached at the lower end and balancing the act of the muscles which are at the upper end. Now, this will try to pull the radius, okay, its border, that is the lateral border of the radius, it will try to pull and rotate the radius on the superior and inferior radioulnar joint, and the whole bone is just pulled, and it makes a circle, almost a 180 degree circle of the radius is made, so that the anterior surface of the radius, which is in this supination position, in the complete prone position or pronated position, the dorsal surface of the radius will face forward. Say for example, this is the supine or supination of the forearm. When the pronation will take place, the posterior surface of the radius will, and the radius will cross from upper end will remain here, though it is rotating, and then the shaft of the radius will cross in front of the ulna, and its posterior aspect will come medially, okay, and it will lie anterior to the radius. So the hand will also rotate, the skeleton of the hand will also rotate, and then this is the first metacarpal, this is second and third metacarpal, but its dorsal surface will be facing here anteriorly. This is how the movement of the pronation will take place, and this is because most of the muscles, they are crossing from medial to lateral side. Most of the muscles, they are pulling the radius towards the medial side, and because it forms a pivot joint here, the radius moves, okay, will move from means within that capsule annular ligament, it will move, but then the lower end will form a circle, the lower end will form. This is how the pronation movement will take place because of the three different muscles, that is Pronator quadratus, Pronator teres, and the Flexor carpi radialis, okay, Flexor carpi radialis muscle. So this is the way how the pronation movement is produced in the forearm, okay, and along with the hands also moves, okay. Now in the next video, very short video, I will tell how from pronation ultimately supination takes place and which are the muscles which are responsible for producing this movement of the supination of the forearm. Okay, thank you very much for watching this short video.